welcome to part 3 of this Pilates Matwork session. We're going to lie now on our sides to do a little bit of work for the outer thighs, the inner thighs, and the sides of the body, top and bottom waists. So bring yourself down onto the mat. We're going to start off in torpedo position, so the legs will be long and straight out and behind you, underneath you. In terms of the arm position and head position, you could either have your arm under your head and a thin head cushion supporting your head, or if that doesn't feel great for your shoulder, you can have a thicker cushion and you can bring your arm in front of your chest. I actually need a thick and a little one if I'm keeping my arm in front of my chest. So let's stretch the legs down the mat, long and straight. Bring the shoulders one on top of the other. Make sure they're nice and level. Hips again should be level. And if you look down to the feet, we should easily be able to see them. We don't want them behind the body. Top arm lengthens along the top thigh, preferably. But if you feel a little unsteady in this position, you could keep the hand in front of your chest. Maybe just relying on a fingertip rather than the whole of the hand. So let's start with torpedo 2. The top leg is going to lift just a fraction. The bottom leg comes up to meet it and both legs rest together. So we breathe out as the leg goes up, breathe in as they connect, and as you release back down. Let's do a few more sets. Try and keep your feet relatively relaxed and think about your inner thighs, your knees coming up to meet one another. We'll do 2 more sets to finish. Feeling that little bit of work into the top waist and definitely working those leg muscles. Maybe 1 more set. And then you can relax the legs, maybe bend the knees for a moment if you need to, just release tension off the back. I'm going to come back into that same position and now we'll do an exercise called the side lift. So what we're doing really is shortening the top waist and lengthening the bottom waist. So we start off in the same position as torpedo, but all you do is you lift your head off your cushion, off your arm, and then slide your top arm down your leg, and then you release back down again. So we breathe in to prepare the body, breathe out as we come up, breathe in as you come down. So you'll notice it's a very small movement. We can't get a huge range just because we're lying on the floor. So all we're looking to do is to get that top shoulder to go down towards the hip, the top hand to reach down towards the knee, and then to release back to the center or back to your starting position. So let's do 3 more of those at the most. Anytime you want to stop and rest, just stop and rest. Last one to finish. Great, well done. So now let's work the bottom waist by coming into side twist. And for this exercise, we're going to push ourselves up onto our elbows. And what I want you to do here is to initially have your legs straight, as if you were in torpedo, but then I want you to keep your knees where they are and just tuck your feet back behind your knees. So the front of the hips are still lovely and open in this position. You'll notice my knees, my hips, my spine are almost in a straight line towards the front of my mat. You don't have to move to the front of yours, but it's a nice way to line things up. So the most important thing, more than anything, is the position of the elbow under the shoulder. So make sure it is directly under the shoulder joint. If it's even slightly out, it could strain the shoulder, which you don't want. The top hand lengthens along the top hip, as with torpedo. The feet are resting, the knees are heavy, glued one on top of the other. Make sure the hips are level, one on top of the other. It's quite easy for the top hip to drop back here, so keep it stacked level. And then again, the shoulders should be level, one on top of the other. Your head, instead of being upright, will be at a slight angle. So your neck, your spine in a good starting position. And then as you breathe in, you're going to lift your arm upwards, push your hips away from the mat, and come into a side reach, a stretch. And then you come back down to rest. So So we breathe in to lift the arm and the hip, and we breathe out to come back to rest. You could just bring the arm above the shoulder and push the hip up from there. That's absolutely fine. That'll still strengthen the bottom waist. But if you want more range, more length in the top waist, you drop your head lower, you reach your arm further, and you push your hips higher if you can. We're going to do 2 more at the most, whichever position, whichever version you would like to do. Last one, because this is quite a challenge on that bottom shoulder. When you're finished, you can either lie on your back or come into a sitting position and just give the shoulder you were leaning on a nice circle or a shrug, anything to release that joint. So let's swap to the other side. We're going to do everything the same. So bring your cushions with you. Stretch your legs out along the mat. Lie down onto your side into your torpedo position. So either the thick cushion with your lower arm in front, or the thin cushion as I'm demonstrating on this side with your arm under your head. Top hand lengthens along the top hip. And again, just check your feet are stacked one on top of the other and visible. Check that your hips are level, shoulders level, and your head back in line with your spine. So try not to watch the legs as you do this exercise. When you're ready to move, the top leg lifts a fraction, bottom leg connects, and the legs release together. Breathe out, breathe in to connect, and to rest. Think about that bottom leg getting longer as it comes up to meet the top leg. So try and find that length in your spine. You'll notice it's quite a challenge to balance, so just do what you can in this position. If you did need to bring that hand in front of your chest, make sure it's the finger that's helping you to balance, not the whole hand and the whole arm. But the less you use your arm, the better, because then it's the spinal muscles that are stabilizing you. We're going to do 2 more sets to finish, 2 at the most. And you'll notice that top leg doesn't lift too high. Good, well done. Let's do the side lift. So we stay on the side of the body, not yet coming onto the elbow. Top arm along the top hip, and then you lift your head off your arm. Slide your top shoulder down, slide your top hand down, and then you release back to your starting position. Breathe in to prepare, breathe out to come up, breathe in to come down. Try and keep the legs as heavy as they can. You might want to lift them to try and bring you higher, but we want to keep the legs nice and heavy. You could think of your bottom thigh pressing into the mat. We'll do 2 more. Last one. Great, then let's work the bottom waist by pushing up onto the elbow. Again, the elbow is right under the shoulder. I'm going to come forward again just to check my alignment. So the legs initially are straight, elbow under the shoulder, and then I'm going to push my feet back, tuck them behind me, and keep my knees where they were. So the hips are open at the front. There's no creases in the front of the leggings or the trousers. So bottom shoulder right above your elbow, top arm lengthening along the top thigh, head tilted at an angle to begin with, and on your breath in, arm goes up, bum goes up. Breathe out to release. Breathe in to go up, breathe out to go down. You could increase the range by sending the arm all the way overhead and coming back. Breathe out, in to lift, and breathe out to release. So you're looking straight ahead of you, but the head lowers as the bottom lifts. We'll do 2 more to finish. Feel that strength underneath you and that length at the top. And then come up into sitting or lie on your back. Give that bottom shoulder, this time, these circles to release any tension. Great, well done. We're going to stay sitting and come into an exercise called back support. And this is a really nice exercise to open the shoulders from the front. We're taking them into shoulder extension where the arms go behind us. And it's not a position we do very often. Mostly we're working with our arms in front of us, sometimes above us, but very rarely behind us. So it's a movement of the shoulder that's possible, and it's important that we keep it there, because if we don't use it, we lose it. So I want you to sit onto your mat. Feet are flat onto the floor, and you can play around with how close or how far your feet are from your body, just to find a nice comfortable position for your hips. And then take your hands behind you and lean back into your arms. Now ideally for this first version, I want you to reach your fingertips back so they point towards the top edge of your mat. You can play around with how wide or narrow your arms are. Try not to lock the elbows in this position, so keep them a little bit loose so they can react to the movement. And then think about a lovely straight back. So watch you don't sort of hang here, you should be lengthening the spine here. So on your breath in, we're going to lift your bum up, pushing your hips away from the mat, and your breath out, you release back down. Breathe in to go up, and breathe out to go down. Now, if it's possible and you'd like more of a challenge, we would like to bring the hips in line with the knees. So you're going to push up and lift the hips in line with the knees. So the body is almost like a tabletop in reverse. And then you come back down again. Obviously, the higher you come up, you'll notice the bigger the extension in the shoulders. So my arms are almost 90 degrees now, whereas they start off maybe 45 degrees. So let's do 3 more sets. Fingers pointing back, bum lifting up. And you'll feel, hopefully, a really good stretch into the front of your shoulders, the chest. What we're working here are our pectoral muscles. Pec major, which is the big muscle that stretches across the chest. Have a rest off the wrists and the shoulders. Give the wrists a little shake, give the shoulders a little circle, whatever helps you to release tension. And then let's come into that same position, exactly the same, but I want your fingertips to point inwards, to face the body. So now we're working pec minor, the little tiny muscle of the chest, which is much deeper and harder to stretch. Try this out. If it feels awful, don't do it. Come back to the other version or just rest from here. So same thing again, breathing in to lift the bum, breathing out to release. And just do a few little test runs. See how that feels on the shoulders, on the arms and on the chest. If it feels okay, push yourself right up. Hips level with the knees. And then release yourself back down. Breathing in to go up. And breathing out to come back down. We'll do 3 more, if possible. Definitely for me, a bigger stretch, a more challenging stretch. Last one to finish. And when you finish, come off the shoulders, off the wrists. Give them a little shake out, release any tension. Let's do maybe a spine stretch forward just to release this. So come into your long frog position, drop those knees out to the sides, rest your hands on your shins, sit up tall, take a deep breath in. As you breathe out, nod the chin to the chest, and bone by bone, let your spine gently stretch forward, lengthening through the back, releasing through the shoulders. Breathe in there, and breathe out as you come back up again, sitting tall. I'll just do 1 more of those. Gently lengthening the back of the body, releasing the shoulders, and coming back up, sitting tall. And we're ready to finish off with some front line work, prone work. And we're going to start off with diamond press. So we'll rest your head onto your fingertips, elbows out to the sides. I'll tell you the leg position in a moment. You will need possibly a head cushion for the last of the 3 exercises. You could even have a big thick head cushion nearby as well if you happen to have one for the second exercise. So let's bring yourselves onto your fronts. We're going to start off with diamond press, as I say. So what I want you to do with your legs today is to turn your big toes inwards so they touch one another and your heels drop out away from one another. You'll rest your head onto your fingertips and let the body be relaxed here. Now if your neck and shoulders feel really tight in this position, just have your hands a little wider apart and you could rest your head onto the mat or onto a cushion. So let's start with our diamond press. The tummy draws to the spine. We slide the nose forward, lift the back of the head. The chest goes forwards and upwards into a small extension. Breathe in there and breathe out as you rest. So we'll do that twice more. Breathing out as you come up. Breathing in at the top. And breathing out to release. Good. So now we'll come into our big squeeze exercise. In the classes I would often give you a big thick head cushion to pop between your legs, which you're welcome to use now. You can place it between your inner thighs and your knees. If you don't have one, just obviously bring your legs together as you do the exercise. So we're rolling the thigh bones inside the hips. So start with the big toes together, the heels away. Relax the upper body completely. Draw the tummy to your spine. And as you breathe out, squeeze your legs together, drawing the heels towards one another. The inner thighs try to connect, the bottom squeezes. And then release as you breathe in. So we breathe out, we squeeze. Breathe in, release. We'll do 3 more. You should feel this in the tummy, the pelvic floor, as well as the legs and the bum. When you finish that last one, you could leave the cushion where it is or take it out. And let's finish with the dart. So here I want you to lengthen your arms to your sides. You could turn your head to look to one side, or you can keep your forehead onto the mat. You'll notice the palms are up to the ceiling, the shoulders relaxing to the floor. We start off by drawing the tummy to the spine. The legs squeeze together, the nose slides forward, the chest lifts. The shoulders roll back, the arms lengthen to your sides, the palms of the hands connect onto the legs. Take a big breath in and breathe out, everything relaxes to release. Breathe in to prepare. Breathe out, squeeze the legs, lift the chest, roll the shoulders back. Squeeze or connect the hands onto the sides of the legs to open the chest and breathe out, let everything relax. We'll do 3 more sets. If you would like a little bit more of a challenge, when you've come into your dart, you can grab hold of one hand with the other. And as you lift your chest, you can lift your arms towards the ceiling to deepen that stretch through the front of the body. Last one to finish. When you finish, you can release the cushion from between your legs, push yourself back into rest position, or roll onto your back. Give your knees a lovely hug to the chest. If you're in rest position, rest your head to the mat if it reaches. Otherwise, pop your hands under your head to give your neck support. Breathe deep and wide and full to the backs, the sides, the bottom of the rib cage. Releasing, relaxing those muscles that you've been working in the body. And then when you're ready, draw the tummy in, roll your spine back up, gently restacking through the body, back to a sitting position, and you've finished this final session. So well done, really good work. I look forward to seeing you for the next session the next time you log in. Take care. Bye for now. Well done.